We want to thank our amazing sponsor, the rope drop queen herself, Michelle McKnight. She's a destination specialist with TouringPlans and can help you plan an amazing vacation. Whether it's Disney, Universal, a cruise, or an all-inclusive, she can help you with booking, planning, and strategizing to help you have an incredible experience at a great rate. Contact her today at michelle@touringplans.com. Now, on to the show.
Helping you navigate the Disney parks.
With the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.
You're listening to Rope Drop Radio.
Welcome to another Rope Drop Radio. Derek and Doug talking all things Disney. And Doug, this is a great episode because we're not just talking Disney. We're talking Galactic Starcruiser Disney.
Yes.
That's right. It's only been open for a couple weeks. You and I are going to be there in a month, but we have a lot of questions that need to be answered.
Yes, we're doing a frequently asked question episode with a recent passenger aboard the Halcyon, and we're avoiding spoilers.
Yes.
I mean, other than
No
some
spoilers.
little details like food and room and logistics and Batu, but we're avoiding storyline spoilers all the way and that sort of stuff. There's one little part where you may have to plug your ears for about 30 seconds, maybe.
That's right. And it comes from one of our Patreons, Alex Cenac. And speaking of Patreons, we have two long-term Patreons we need to give a shout-out to. Mark Collins and Tiffany Wallace. Thank you so much for supporting Rope Drop Radio, getting the bonus episodes. We have a good one that we've already recorded that will be released. And Doug, I think we're going to have a lot of great Patreon episodes when we do go to the Galactic Starcruiser.
Yes, there'll be lots of Patreon bonus material, and plan on doing when I'm on my spring break trip here in a couple days, planning on doing a lot of little daily posts, little recordings. Haven't done that before, so I'm going to try to amp it up a little bit on the old Patreon app.
So if you want to get some of that content, you got to go in that show notes and help support the show. The other way to support the show, Doug, is through Apple reviews or any kind of reviews.
Or just sharing the show with your friends.
Yes, tell them about it.
This week, take one of your favorite shows, tag a friend, and say, listen to this.
There we go.
Whatever social media you have. That is the challenge, the gauntlet we are throwing down today. But let's read a review, Derek. All right, this week it is titled My Favorite Disney Podcast. There's a lot of Disney
there
podcasts.
There are a lot.
So that's
a
a
ridiculous
big compliment.
amount.
It
grows every day, Doug.
Yes. All right, and this is by Rachel Greer. I've listened to a lot of Disney podcasts, but Rope Drop Radio is by far my favorite. I think Derek and Doug have great chemistry, and I love listening to them, whether they're doing trip reports, providing tips and tricks to help me make your Disney trip awesome, or playing games like ranking the Epcot pavilions. I also enjoy being part of their Patreon community. Thank you for the great podcast.
All right. Well, thank you, Rachel, for both the review and being a Patreon. So there we go. Please go into wherever you listen to this, click that 5 stars, help the show grow. So in about a month, you and I will be going to a galaxy far, far away. This trip, I am the most excited that I may have ever been for a Disney trip. There's a lot of questions, a lot of things on YouTube and TikTok and Twitter that I'm avoiding, but a lot of questions that you and I need to ask so that we're ready for this trip.
We need answers, but we don't need spoilers.
Exactly, and a lot of our listeners want to know the same thing. So we have brought someone who is not on the first, but the second sailing of the Galactic Starcruiser. We're bringing one of our Patreons on, Mr. Alex Cenac, who has done it and knows all the stuff. And so, Doug, you and I will be peppering him with questions. And, of course, we can't do this alone. In fact, your better half, the rope drop queen herself, Michelle McKnight, is joining us to pepper Alex with questions as well. Because, Michelle, thank you so much for booking this for Doug and I and letting us go together on without you.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, and Alex is also a travel agent with TouringPlans travel agency along with Michelle. So welcome to the show, Alex.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me again.
Excellent. And you can find Alex on episode 68, 152, 175, 219, and many more, where he
says they are the best episodes.
No comment.
Okay. All right. No comment. Well, let's just let's get on with it. Alex, you were there. You had a good time. So the main question that everybody has is it worth the price? However, we're going to wait till the end to ask that one.
Ooh.
So
like
let's
it.
actually start with what happens prior to us even getting there. We've linked our reservation. Actually, they do that for you. What's next?
Yeah, so we were on the second voyage, and so May 4th or 3rd, and I guess probably about a month out, they started sending out emails and kind of push notifications through your My Disney Experience app about doing the online check-in. And so you do the same online check-in that you do for a regular Disney resort, and then you end up getting the same email notifications that you get when you have a regular Disney. You want to book Savi's, you want to book Oga's, and then also kind of letting you know about some of the things that you have to do, arrival times, things like that. So they sent out plenty of information, and then you saw, and then through the Play Disney app, you could actually see the itinerary. And that's where you kind of figure out that you needed the Play Disney app as well.
And I can see that for our voyage a month out already. We did not book Savi's. We figured we're already got enough going on. Does that seem like we do have enough going on that we won't be missing out greatly?
Yeah, I've already done Savi's, and so I wasn't doing it again, and there was kind of no reason to do that. Same with Droid Depot, have kind of done it already, but they do ask you if you want to book that in advance, and my guess is that they hold back some spots for people who want to do it, even kind of probably, I'm guessing, the day of.
Because we're that special.
Well, that's why I can't get my spring break Savi's trip in, Doug.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because you got to save room for the Galactic Starcruiser.
Okay.
So before you get there, they communicate like that. Do they tell you an exact time to show up, like a port arrival time, or is it kind of like in a window of time?
The online check-in just said show up between 1 and 4, and of course I selected 1 o'clock.
1 and 4. I want to. If I'm spending that much money, I'm getting there well before that 1 o'clock, Doug.
Absolutely. All right. So then I've been seeing pictures of a special magic band. Is that something that you can add on, or like some people get? What's the deal with the magic band there?
Yeah. So when, we arrived, my oldest daughter who's 18, my second daughter who's 14, we were together. We did a campus tour of UCF. And so we were driving from all the way out on the other side of Orlando. And, I plugged in the Waze, and it actually took me to the Star Wars Galactic Outpost, the shop in Disney Springs. And so we were a little bit delayed. We showed up about 12:50, and you follow the signs, and you actually go backstage. It's that cast member parking at the studios. And when we were there at 12:50, we were probably in like the last fourth of the people to be there. Like it was already completely packed. It is like Alcatraz to get in. You're not just rolling up to Starcruiser and going to see. There's a whole process to get in. Security, they go through, they check your name, everything. And they start from the very beginning. They specifically tell you can bring no blasters aboard. And so you kind of get it from the very beginning. So we had a rental car, so we valeted, valets included. And as soon as we hopped out, we met, someone took our luggage, took the car, took the luggage, didn't see the luggage till we got into the stateroom. And we were met with the cast member. There were, tons of cast members there greeting people. And we were handed a paper bag that had magic bands for each person in there. And then data pads plus cords plus cubes. So that's when we got our magic band. We were never given the option to personalize or customize or anything. It just comes with the experience.
And then charging cord and a plug for the data pad, huh?
Yeah. So I didn't realize we were going to have, a secondary device. I don't know if that's a permanent thing or just a temporary thing. Everybody knows Disney technology. You just kind of have no idea what it's going to do. And so, but that's what we were given. And I appreciated, and it's iPhone 11s. And then it just had the Play app on it. And so you had to log into the Play app And then, once it did, everything popped up and you were on there, but there's no My Disney Experience app. There's nothing else on it. It was just pretty basic. And
did you find yourself closing it constantly and trying to open Twitter?
No,
No.
What I wanted to do is I wanted to actually, screenshot and post. And so not being able to do that from that device felt I didn't share as much on social media, or maybe share with clients and prospective clients as much as I would have. And so, I kept trying to use my own phone, and it kept kicking me over, just saying wrong device, use the device provided by the Halcyon. So
interesting. The arrival process somewhat similar to a cruise where they take your bag. How is it tagged specially to know where to go, or how do they know where to take your bag to?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. I was kind of more, looking at how many guests were in line, kind of kicking myself we didn't get there earlier. And then also kind of just super confused why so many people were super dressed up already. And so, but people showed up in full garb, and they were in it to win it from the very beginning. So, but I wasn't too concerned with the bag. I just kind of trusted that it would get there. So,
and it made it. And so you saw it again in your stateroom. When was the stateroom ready? Like as soon as you walk on, or is it like a cruise where you have to wait till a magical time that they drop a little rope?
Yeah, no. So, I actually got a text notification that our stateroom is ready at 11:17 a.m. And so,
Nice.
Yeah. So, obviously, just like on a cruise, they're kindly asking you to leave on your last day. And so you're not lingering around, but they're turning it over pretty quick. And so, I got it. It took us a while to get in. And then, the cast member takes you, you get from the portal, to the pod, to the ship, and you're met with a cast member, because there's only, 8 or 10 or so people on the pod, and then they greet you, and then they take you straight to your stateroom, and our luggage was sitting in the stateroom.
Wow. So your luggage got to space faster than you did.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any motion sickness issues with the pod going to space?
That's the question I was wondering about. Is Doug going to puke on me?
It's Space 220.
Okay.
So what does that mean, Doug? Are you okay with
Space
that, or are you going to have to close your eyes?
I'm fine. I'm
okay.
fine with the space elevator that goes 220 miles into space. So I should be good.
It's getting on, whatever transport is to rise, right? It's that
kind of level.
Yes.
Gotcha. Smoke and mirrors.
If I ruined something for you, I apologize.
I don't think that was a root. No,
I think we just need to know how many patches Doug needs to wear during this trip.
I think that's more a Guardians of the Galaxy question.
Okay.
How much surface area do I need to be covered in to write Guardians of the Galaxy? But now we're getting ahead of ourselves. So let's talk about on the ship. You're there. You've settled in. Do you need to be like early to activities? Do they fill up? Do you need to be early to dinner? Or you show up right on time? How's that work?
Yeah, so we, got on the ship, I guess about 1:40-ish. And then we got in the stateroom, and then we went straight to eat lunch. And so, we were on deck 4. So there's deck 4, 5, 6, 7. Deck 6 is the atrium. Deck 4 is where the dining room is, and then and like the engineering room and the brig and some other things. And so we went straight to eat, and it's buffet style, and then they have, soft drinks and iced tea, blue milk, green milk, all those things. And so we went and sat.
Everything the body needs right there.
Yeah. So, and then the food, very similar to Docking Bay, 7 kind of food.
So the soda is included.
Yeah, there's soda, there's coffee, there's tea, and then
I didn't know all these things were in
milk.
that world, but now I'm glad there are.
Well, there's Coca-Cola in Galaxy's Edge,
That's true.
so we can assume there's
That's
Coca-Cola in a
Batu,
galaxy
though.
far,
You
far
didn't
away.
know that they're on the Starcruiser. Okay, just details.
Yeah, and
It's canon.
Okay.
and it's the same Airbus writing on the machines too.
Excellent. So I need to brush up on that before we go.
And it's all self-service, right? You grab your own, food, you grab your own cups. There are, cast members, or crew members or whatever they're called, there, and they're constantly replenishing things. And then, if there's a guest with an allergy, there's someone out there trying to talk to them. And then there's, several crew members in the dining room, taking drink orders or, cleaning up or making sure everything's running smoothly. So.
All right. Well, this next question's one that we've kind of been hearing a lot about on Facebook groups and other things is just how much walking around or standing do you do during your 2-night voyage? A lot of people have been complaining about sore feet.
I think
there.
Doug was assuming this is going to be a legit cruise and that he was going to be relaxing on deck somewhere just staring out into space.
Or more like Wall-E, where I just sit and it moves around for me. But I'm hearing that's not true, Alex.
It's pretty intense, right? It's you're walking around, as much as you can, because you're on, various missions and you're going from up and down. There's 2 elevators, same deal on cruise ships. We don't take the elevators, we only take the stairs. And so, you're walking around going from the atrium to the bridge down to the engineering room. You're going up and down kind of constantly. And so there's, and yes, you get in the sublight lounge, you get in the bar, you can hang, but you're moving around.
So wear comfy shoes, Doug. Got it.
Comfy shoes.
And a comfy costume, too. Like, it's kind of like Run Disney, where you want to make sure you can move in
I hope you have your costumes ready, Doug.
Oh, that's a whole nother conversation. Speaking of me, and activities, there's been a lot of videos of line dancing that have been on Facebook. And one went slightly viral, and then someone decided it'd be a good idea to make me dance, who, if you know me, I do not want to dance.
Did he even dance at the wedding, Michelle, by the way? Did you guys at least have one dance together?
Yes,
okay, good.
We had like 6 or 7 hours of straight dancing.
Yeah.
Oh, there was younger. You used to dance. Come on now.
I'm old and grumpy, and I need things off my lawn. But so now it's turned into where people are donating money in order to get me to dance.
We have raised over $1,000.
So I will dance if people continue to donate money. It goes to Give Kids a World, and we'll have a link for that closer to our voyage. And then, of course, if I actually dance, then donations will pour in. And
yeah, not me
Derek,
dance. I will dance. I will dance right now. Yes, I'm in. I'm going to have a smile on my face this whole trip. I already know that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I had a smile looking at Alex's pictures. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Alex, did you dance? Is there video, and where can I see it?
So I did dance. There is no video, and you will never see it.
You'll never see.
Listen, here.
I told my daughters I took their phones before I even got on the floor. There you go.
I'm with my 18-year-old and my 14-year-old. Of course, I'm dancing. So,
I thought about seeing if I could get their phone numbers from your wife to see if I could text them to get me some blackmail, but I didn't actually do it.
Yeah. So there is Ryloth dance kind of practice as an activity on day one. So there's 5:30 dining and there's 8 p.m. dining. We were 8 p.m. dining. And I guess Ryloth, maybe they had it earlier. I only saw it on the itinerary once. And so, the cast members, it's just like, being on a cruise I guess there's entertainment cast members at the pools, right?
Right. Yeah.
Dance and things like that. It's very similar. And so they then, during the show on the first night, Gaia does lead some dancing. So, and everybody gets up. There wasn't a single person up in the entire.
Yeah, you're doing it,
sitting
Doug.
down. Every single person was up, which is why I was up too. And so, It was fun. And my kids were, kind of mimicking when the instructor, how she was teaching, and so saying body roll, because there's a lot of body rolling. So,
oh dear.
Oh yes.
If you have a Peloton and you like Emma Lovewell as an instructor, she does those body rolls. It's that's all it is. So
it will happen, Doug.
Oh well,
get your body rolling already.
Hopefully, we'll raise a lot of money for a charity then, and got to thank Concierge Chris for getting the ball rolling on that.
Yeah, Ryan Alexander, I know, Back to the Mouse Punch guys jumped in right away to see you dance, Doug.
That's a concerning thing to spend money on.
Yeah, no one wants to see me dance. They're like, hey, he's going to do it anyway, so it's all Doug.
Yeah. All right. Enough of that. So I'm glad to hear you dance. Glad to hear you're having fun. Say, when you're in the stateroom, is it just Star Wars on the TV? Or what's the TV situation like for us introverts that may not want to dance?
There is Resort TV, right? They have an ability to stream. I popped on, I guess, a basketball game at Sports Center when the older kids were getting ready, and I was just looking for time, but I was exhausted, and so I just needed something to be on. I didn't actually, scroll around or anything. I was just wanted something on to kill time while the girls were getting ready. So.
Excellent. All right. For the excursions, do you get assigned a tender time like you do on a cruise ship that tenders? Like, what's the tender situation to Batu?
It just says, itinerary just says from 9 to 4, right? There's transports running. And so I'd seen, we got there about 9:20 or so. We came to an agreement with the kids that I'd let them sleep till 8. And but my guess is that they had people, when we got to Batu, there were a ton of passengers already on the planet, and so my guess is they started running them closer to about 8:20, probably 8:30.
Was there a long line to get on one?
We probably waited about 10 minutes, and so if you've seen the pictures, right? So in it looks a lot like a Disney bus, right? When you walk in, right? And so there's 3 seats. There's probably 12 seats, and then there's probably standing room for about 4 people. So you could probably fit about 16 people in there. But we only had probably like 10 people. It took 5 minutes, tops to get from. I mean, you're not going very far. I think the majority of the time is having to get through security. So.
Oh, so you go through security again, even though you went through it to get on the ship, right?
No, the transport has to go through security. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's got to come back into orbit and land. Yeah. So
when I tell you it's Alcatraz, it's Alcatraz, right? It is. It is locked down.
It's in the middle of a bay. You can swim for it. Okay, anyway, moving on. What's different for the Starcruiser passengers when you're on Batu, when you're on World?
So when you get in line to go to Batu, they give you a pin, and it says Halcyon Passenger on it, and they ask you to wear it. And so I just had it on my, collar. I had what I regularly wear to the park. I wasn't dressed up or anything, and my girls just had theirs on too. But it was like the golden ticket. We did opening day at Disneyland, right? And Disney World for, so I've been a bunch of times. So I've done a lot of the stuff on the Play app already, but everything, there's still new stuff to do. And you're getting, by that morning, you're still getting missions from, various pathways, right? On asking you to do certain things, right? And so the whole time, if they have confidence level high in you're still getting missions from them. And so
play the app.
So you're getting, and so we went, and so we I started I scanned anything, so I knew what to do, right? You scan whatever you can, you tune, you translate, you kind of go from point to point and you're definitely trying to do as much as you can, because the more you do, the more missions you get, and the more you kind of keep getting involved, the higher confidence, and then you kind of into the story. You become a part of the story.
Okay, so play that.
Yeah. So do the app. When we went, so you dock right next to the first order area of Black Spire Outpost. And so we did a couple missions, decided to go to Smuggler's Run. The Hondo audio animatronic was not working, and so it was covered up. But we ended up, when we were getting on into the cockpit, that kind of last instructions directly from Hondo when he's on the video screen, he specifically mentioned welcome to some halcyon passengers.
Wow.
And so,
that's cool. Spoiler.
Yeah, which I thought was pretty. Yeah, which I thought was pretty neat. You do the same. Same deal, right? And so, but Smuggler's Run, that storyline is part of the halcyon storyline. You go to Rise of Resistance. Of course, it was down, and so we go to Oga's. I was like, hey, you think we can get a walk up? She saw the halcyon pin. We were in within like 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh, I'm wearing that pin all the time now.
Yeah. And so
is that gonna that's my question. Is that gonna are people gonna keep wearing that pin and it's gonna break the system in about 4 months?
If you're wearing the pin to cheat the system, well,
okay.
But could you? Oh yeah, totally. My 14-year-old, she was like, I'm wearing the pin to get free waters. And so, because there's a whole section there, if you walked in, had the pin on, there's cast members and they're handing out free waters. They're taking your merchandise to ship back to the ship as well. And so it's the service was top notch. I was very, very impressed. And there were multiple cast members, and so you weren't standing in a line, like you are at the guest services or at the guest experience, blue tents. You are walking up because there's a cast member specifically, for any passenger that has issues. So,
does the pin work as your lightning lane for the two attractions?
No, your Magic Band does. You just scan. Okay. You just, so your entitlement's on there and it just scans. So, the pin, you get a quick service credit similar to when the dining plan, existed, rest in peace. You get, an entree, a drink, each person does. And so, and I didn't want a mobile order. There was no method to mobile order from the Play app. And so you walked up to Docking Bay 7. They saw the pin. They walked me straight in. We walked straight to a register. We ordered and got our food in like 5 minutes. We got our food faster than some people who had already had, their order was ready with the blue screen on your My Disney Experience app. We got our food before any of those people got their food.
That's because they just grabbed theirs, gave it to you.
There you go.
Yeah, well,
right.
You were more important, obviously.
Well, I doubt many people are ordering the tuna or that Felucian, spread, since it was, Friday during Lent. But yes, it was super quick. There wasn't a designated seating area, which I didn't see how they were going to do or how they could have done, but which would have been nice. We didn't have an issue finding seats, but that was, again, if you're gonna nitpick, that's one of the, there were so few not fantastic moments that's one of the few nitpicks.
All right, sounds good on Batu. Do you have to eat on Batu, or can you go back to the ship and eat if you wanted to? What's the schedule for getting back?
Yeah, so there's food all the time on the ship, right? So I think breakfast was from like 9 to 11, and then there's snacks out in the atrium or in the sublight lounge. There's a grab and go breakfast as well. You could do and coffee in the sublight lounge, and then there's snacks out kind of all day, and then you could. Even you can access the drinks in the Crown of Corellia dining room kind of the whole time. So you didn't have to, you could have stayed on the ship the whole time. You would have missed some things, and maybe that's not something I would recommend. It just kind of depends on how into it you were and how dedicated to your path you were.
All right. Speaking of this path, costumes. What percentage of people were dressed all the way up, halfway up, none of the way up? Break down the clothing options that you saw.
Yeah, so second voyage, and so maybe the numbers are a little skewed. Probably 50% were probably in it to win it, full on.
That's what I like to hear, Doug. You and I, we're in it to win it.
Are we?
Yeah.
Yes.
There was a Star Tours, pilot. There was, there was a couple of X-Wing pilots, right? There were, probably a good 10% had on first order, kind of black officer gear, right? There was a good bit of first order, right? There were, and then, a bunch of Jedi robes, and then a bunch of those weird, costumes that Disney was selling directly from Shop Disney, right? That's one thing I didn't mention, right?
The tunic
got the
type things.
Yeah, we got the early access to purchase, but by the time I went to purchase it, they had extra small and triple X.
And you.
And so, I wasn't buying that. I didn't have luggage room. We don't dress up for pirate night, and so we're not those kind of people. But you could have purchased all those things. They had the Leia garb, they had the tunics, they had all the stuff, on the ship. If you wanted to drop, the coin on the ship, they were, believe me, they were going to sell it to you. But yeah, and we weren't dressed up, but probably maybe 20% weren't dressed up either. And so we didn't feel out of place. We didn't feel, pressured or ignored or shunned or anything by not being dressed up. What it kind of did was it kind of, we just got kind of some, we got attention from the cast members, and we just got kind of more, how's your experience? How, are you doing well? We actually got, I think probably got as much as attention, personality wise versus, questions about what planet you were from and things like that.
Oh, man. Okay. Good to know. That's an important one.
We're dressing up, Doug.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there were, it's a lot of the, it was, there was probably about, it was probably about 10% kids, right? And, there were some young kids, but not very many young kids. I could probably count on, two hands how many young kids there were there. I think probably age 11 and up is probably about right. Just because if you need to handle, you have to have a data pad. So, that kind of intrinsic trust with a device like that probably is about that age. And so
I've seen toddlers handle cell phones just fine. Yep. Alex, I don't know what you're talking about.
My 4-year-old does great.
Yeah, my 7 or 8-year-old do as well. But when you're constantly on the move and it doesn't belong to you, I'm kind of wanting an older kid to have it. And so
makes sense.
Again, they were whole families. They were couples, that were all, dressed to the same. It helped with the atmosphere, right? And I hope, we didn't detract from the atmosphere by not being dressed up, but I never got the impression that not being dressed up, that we were, not part of the story or not, shunned, avoided, or whatever.
Okay. So you have to pick a path. Is that something you do right away or as it goes? What's the story there?
Yeah. So you start getting missions, from the data pad kind of almost immediately, almost kind of when, right when we got on the ship, kind of almost immediately. And they mainly want you to explore. There is a ship tour that they will take you on that will show you all the areas of the ship. We did that, and I thought that was pretty good, pretty helpful. There is data pad training, so if you are technologically challenged,
they'll go.
Yeah, you need that, Doug.
they'll go through all the steps, kind of with you setting things up. I had some friends on the ship that not every one of their kids had a My Disney Experience account or had and so they were having to set all those things up for them on the ship. And so my kids did, so we didn't have to do that. And so, but it's it's a pretty seamless process. But yeah, and I've heard, people say there's only 2 paths. I think there's 5 paths. And so, and you get, invitations or kind of missions or, communications, in at least 4 of them. Because the 5th path is no path at all. You just you're an active, a passive participant, and you're just taking in the ambiance.
You're the guy in the Millennium Falcon who's a pilot and doesn't do anything.
You're more like the engineer, but
the engineer that doesn't push any buttons.
Yeah,
I'm the engineer.
Yeah. Yes,
you're a great engineer, hun. Wonderful engineer.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I mean, if you want me to tell them, you can plug your ears, right? The paths that I think there's Jedi, there's Resistance, there is a 3rd path that goes along with Gaia and her manager, and then there's First Order.
Okay, you're good. Did you just break your headphones?
There we go. All right, so we took our headphones off for that. Ooh. That was great.
Yeah.
Now I broke my headphones, so
I'm not editing that out either. That's
good.
The people got to realize how Doug and I want to go in spoiler free.
Yeah, and so I did not do the same path as my daughters.
Okay. All right. Enough about paths. Let's talk about characters just for a second. We'll probably talk more about this in our Patreon, but Derek is insistent that we'll have characters. Me, I am the antisocial person that would like to hang out in the corner. But Derek, what were your ideas on characters? You already have a name?
Oh, for us? Yeah. You're Douglas McLeod, and I'm Derek Starman.
Starman.
We're working on it. This is like a first run. I may have been drinking some margaritas, and I had this idea.
Maybe have a few more.
Listeners, give us some ideas on what our backstory should be. Now, in Star Wars Rebels, we need names, obviously. Star Wars Rebels, I believe Ezra Bridger's parents run a radio broadcast about the Resistance. So my thought was we could be like, kind of along that line since we do a podcast.
I'm down.
But you guys let us know. Alex, thoughts?
No comment.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
That's what I
so we don't need names. Got it.
Yeah. So we'll let us know, listeners. We'll work on that the next month. All right. Now for food, we've already talked about the buffet, unlimited soda, snacks are plentiful, blue milk. So Wes is probably going to book this as soon as he can. But what the main dining, like the sit-down dining, is it similar to a cruise where you get a menu, you get to pick what you want, or how does that work on this cruise?
So there's a menu kind of posted on the outside of the restaurant. It's very, it's not very prominent, but they have one. You don't really order. They just kind of bring you kind of everything. And so it's kind of like going to a fixed price, set thing where they're bringing courses. We did the chef's table, or not the chef's table, the captain's table on the first night. And so there's only 11 seats. It's $30 extra per person. I did not think the chef's table or the captain's table was worth it. Because the 3 extra courses weren't anything out of the ordinary, and then I thought the interaction was lacking. But we, they just kind of bring out the courses, and there's enough, variety when they bring out that you're not going to go hungry. And just like on the cruise ship, if you want some, more of, the steak or the fish or the chicken, they'll bring it out for you.
Okay.
Still like a cruise. I like it.
Yeah, but not family style. Not that. You get individual plates.
So we were a party of three, right? And so everything there was, three, and maybe there's coincidence, right? Three of the first course, were brought out, and so, but the parties of two next to us, the same three were brought out. It didn't seem like we got any more or less than the party of two that was sitting next to us, except for maybe the steak where they probably put on 3 pieces instead of 2 pieces.
Okay. All right. How'd they do with allergies?
Is Doug gonna die? That is the big
a lot
question.
of weird looking food in the pictures.
I will have an
Weird-looking
EpiPen,
food
by the
scares
way,
me.
Michelle. Just let me have one, and I'll have it ready.
We should theme it.
Disney takes good care of allergies.
Okay. That's a good point.
Yeah,
I don't need to theme my EpiPen?
Ooh, I like it,
they
though.
specifically tell you on check-in to go straight to the Crown of Corellian, to the dining room to discuss with a crew member if you have any allergies. So
I just really want an allergy stick, but in Arabic instead of English. That would be cool. Is that weird that I think that would be cool?
Yeah, that is weird.
Okay. Well, as long as we're all on the same page. All right.
yeah,
so,
no comment. So.
All right. All right, Alex, this next question is for our information. We just want to know, how much blue milk did you consume throughout the whole voyage?
It's on tap, so it's plentiful, and you can self-serve. I had probably a quarter of a glass just to taste it, just to do it, and
Just to remind yourself.
I'm good. Yeah, it was much better than it is in the parks because the metal glass on tap and cold. I mean, it's way better than a plastic cup in 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So and then the green milk is worse. So, but all of the non-alcoholic drinks had some kind of blue milk kind of base to it, or at least most of them did. And so I forget what the kids got, but they had, it was something with kind of a blue milk with it. So, yeah,
was there good alcoholic drinks on board?
Yeah, very similar to Oga's, right? It's the same bar, cocktail menu, in the Crown Corelli room as there is in the Sublight Lounge. And so there's a Manhattan, there's an old fashioned, there's a gimlet,
but with cooler names.
Yeah, but they're all kind of pre-made, which isn't great. And so just because you kind of never know, if you're getting the good stuff or the bad stuff.
The real question: what would the equivalent to a leprechaun be, so I can have that prior to dancing?
Oh well. They had a couple of what they had a Hoth drink, and then they had a Mustafar, one that smoked, and the Hoth one was like frozen. So probably the Mustafar one. So
okay,
we're gonna try them all, Doug.
All of them.
It's only 2 nights there.
I know. There you go.
Yeah. Well, so then you need to take out a second mortgage.
Oh, never mind.
Blue milk is free.
They're trying to sell you the goblet and the cocktail glass. They're trying to do it all. So
raincourt teeth.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I'm going to be buying some random stuff on this trip. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, you can, but everything, there's jewelry and all the clothes. It is not, there's not just kind of, little trinkets there. Everything it's really well done. It's really solid merchandise, but it's not cheap.
Good to know.
This is almost like cruise ship shopping, real shopping on there.
Yeah, it's not Diamonds International, but it's,
It's trying.
Yeah, it's, Tiffany and
Corellia.
It's all Disney credit card points that are going to that one there.
Yeah, it's Tiffany and Cartier and that kind of quality.
Okay.
Price level, right? So.
All right. Another big question: will we get any sleep while we're there? How exhausted are we going to be?
Yes, you will get sleep because you will be exhausted. So.
Okay.
It's good.
Not adequate.
That was actually my question because I'm an extrovert and I don't want to sleep if I'm spending that kind of money. I want to do all the things.
Like, how late into the evening do activities go?
We probably rolled into the stateroom 11:30, kind of both nights. So
Okay.
It's good to know.
and could have stayed out later, and I had pounded the parks 4 days in a row, so I was pretty beat. But it was there's enough to do because there are still missions, there are still places to explore. It's not much different than being on a 2-night cruise or a 3-night cruise because you want to kind of get everything in. That's why everybody says don't do a 3-night cruise because it's so exhausting because you're trying to get everything in.
Yeah.
It's a 2-night cruise. It's even it's the preview, and Michelle knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's when we did the harmony and the symphony and what Oasis, like you just leave that with your jaw on the floor because you pounded that whole ship in 2 days. So
Well, we're going to be tired, Doug. I can't wait.
Yeah. Okay. Naps on the flight home.
There you go. Sounds good to me.
All right. Now for the first question, which is the last question. Is it worth the cost, Alex?
So the answer, and your mileage is going to vary. I'm a Star Wars kid. Grew up. My little brother and I, we watched episode 4 probably every day on VHS. We went and saw Empire Strikes Back, and in the drive-through, my dad took us to see Empire, Return of the Jedi. We went on the Saturday and then went again the very next day. We did every prequel on opening day, right? We did every the last on opening day. So it's my kind of wheelhouse. I would do it again, and I would do it again with my 11-year-old with no hesitation. Not even without even having a story tweak or a plot change or something different. I would do it again just because I could choose another path, and it would be a different experience. And it would be a different experience with her as well. And so worth it. That's not for me to say. It's not for anybody to say except for the person who's paying it. One man's trash, another man's treasure, right? And so, to be, and I don't think that's, it's for anyone to judge. It's, if you want to do it. And, there's the whole big conundrum right now is if you said it was great, then you're a shill. If you say it's terrible, then, then you're not, you're being too negative, right? Well, in Disney Twitter, why can't we just have a middle ground that you just like it and just want to do it? And so, I think it is a worthwhile experience to do, as a family, as a couple, and it's something that if you're a Disney fan, you're a Star Wars fan, you would have a positive experience with. I think it is very well done. Disney spared no expense. There's not an area where I saw that Disney cut a corner in that on that 2 days. Not one bit.
That's good to hear. That's really good.
Yeah, especially with all the corner cutting they like to do.
No, and I don't. My fandom doesn't even come close to Doug's. He knows all that nerd stuff that I don't even come close to know it.
Do I have the comic book that just came out for the Starcruiser? Yes, I do. Have I read it yet? No. And as soon as I do read it, will I be giving it to Derek? Yes.
Yeah.
You get a copy of that in your statement.
Darn it.
Never mind.
Well, by then it's too late though.
Yeah,
if we're in the stateroom, we gotta sleep.
You only get one. So,
All right.
But yeah, so no, I was, now, so my 14-year-old, she wasn't fully into it, and I kept asking my 18-year-old, she's more into it. She, watched Mandalorian, we watched the movies together. We've done, Batu together. I took them to Disneyland when it first, opened. They've done Droid Depot, they've done Savi's, all that. She would do it again. My 14-year-old would much rather go on a cruise, and I don't actually disagree with her. I would actually probably go on a cruise before I'd go back on it. But if that's not saying that I'm not trying to find a way to get back on with my 11-year-old. So,
all right. Like that does it, Derek.
That is it. That is
Anything
awesome.
else?
I'm so
Thorough.
excited. It is hard to wait 5 weeks, Doug, give or take, on for our trip.
That's a long time.
It
It's
is
a long time. We have spring break trips that we
we will
almost
be
keep
at Walt
forgetting
Disney
about.
World. So, Alex, that's my next question. Let us know when your trip is and how people can follow along.
I don't know what you mean by when my trip is.
Next trip, like to Walt Disney World or Disney.
My next trip is Thursday.
Oh, wow. Going pretty quick.
So my little three have spring break, and so I'm taking them. But since I did not take them on the Star Cruiser, and so we're staying at Yacht Club. The weather is absolutely insane when we're there. When we get there, it's 90, and then like 36 hours later, it's 35. So it's insane what the weather is. But so we're staying at Yacht Club, and hopefully, we can have a reservation at Flying Fish. We have a reservation at Yachtsman. Hopefully they'll be open. So
the
and
weather's going crazy because that's when we arrive.
Totally.
There you go, the McKnights.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Oh yeah,
It's our fault.
We're bringing it in.
Good. When you guys leave, that's when we get in. So
and then we go back in April for after Easter, and we stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge for that. So
Where do we follow you, sir?
on Instagram at Cenac Travel.
there you go. Well, I'll put that in the show notes. And then Michelle, if someone wants to go on this Star Wars adventure, how do they go about doing that? And how far out are people booking right now?
Yeah, they can contact me or Alex. Alex has already been on this.
Yeah.
I'm living vicariously through Alex because I'm not the Star Wars fan.
Yeah, you plan on never going.
I mean, maybe.
Oh,
You got to go one time. She's going to go one
There's a
time.
baby.
I know that.
Not in 2022.
Wow.
Anyway,
Holy cow.
they just opened up the rest of the year, so now we can book through December of 2022.
And there's spots available.
As of right now, yeah.
Okay.
And okay, so to finish up with that, how far out are people? You need to plan. You need, money. How far out are they filling up?
There's openings in September. It's not that full. It's full for the next few months, completely full, basically. Maybe a few cancellations, but very few.
And like a cruise, final payments due 90 days prior, and then.
But it is refundable up
Yeah.
until that 90-day mark.
Yeah.
Lots of people are confused by that,
Yeah.
but it's like a cruise. Yeah.
But 89 to 30 days, it's a 50% penalty. So you need to be cognizant of that. So.
And it's a little weird too. You can't actually put it on hold without actually paying the deposit. So you have to be ready to give your travel agent your credit card information. So just a heads up on that. It's not like a Disney trip where you get to preview the reservation and then put down your money.
Be ready.
Yeah.
Be ready. I like it. I'm ready, Doug.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All
so
right.
We need to get ready for the Patreon episode. So thank you guys so much for supporting Rope Drop Radio. Thank you, Alex, for being one of our Patreons and all the people out there. Also, Alex, thank you for going on the ship. I am a little disappointed you didn't invite Doug and I to go with you. We'd had fun. We're more Star Wars fans than your daughters.
Just not gonna reply.
No comment.
Not going to happen. All right. Anyway,
No comment.
thank you so
I
much.
think you answered your own question there.
All right. For Alex and Michelle and Doug, I'm Derek. You've been listening to Rope Drop Radio.